Hello, welcome to A Bit Beyond the Basics of Immigration. Today I'm going to talk very briefly about a concept related to employment-based visas. If you remember back from the basics of immigration, there are employment-based immigrant visas and employment-based non-immigrant visas. In both of those categories, U.S. companies can seek to bring non-citizen aliens to work, potentially people who are already their employees, potentially new employees, but either way, the idea is to get a visa for someone to come to the United States and work for them. In most situations, we have a company. We have a company who is going to file a petition. If the petition is approved, then the alien can go to the consulate and seek for a visa. One of the things that's important to know here, a lot of times Americans are concerned that people are coming from other countries and taking their jobs or driving down their wages. Congress is also concerned about that. And in order to prevent that from happening, they've created a process that I'm going to call labor certification. Labor certification is a process where the U.S. entity goes to the Department of Labor, the United States Department of Labor, which is the federal department that's responsible for all things related to economy, wages, employees, etc. Things I don't understand, so I'm not even sure all the right words to use, but they are the experts in labor in our country. Okay, so this entity goes and they ask the Department of Labor to show if there's a need for labor or if it can be met with the U.S. market, and probably most importantly, what the prevailing wages are in this particular industry. Because one of the concerns is, well, yes, you could get Americans if you would pay the prevailing wage, the correct wage for this industry and this role. It's because you're not paying enough that you can't find people. So they do their Department of Labor magic and figure out what the prevailing wage is and if there is a need for workers. And then they provide a labor certificate that says, so this is an actual form that says there are not enough Americans to fill this role. Here's how much someone should be paid in order not to depress the market in this particular role and industry. And yes, there is a need for additional workers. So then this U.S. entity takes their labor cert, and that is part of their petition. It's a required part of their petition, so that when the government agencies who are adjudicating immigration, it's not their job to figure out, do we need workers or not? The Department of Labor is going to tell us, do we need workers? And then the immigration agencies are going to look at a variety of things. Is this a real U.S. company? Do they have the money to be able to pay these wages? Do they actually need someone? Can this person fill those needs, etc.? A variety of other things. But I want you to know about the labor cert because it is an important role in attempting to make sure that we're filling needs that need to be met, not just trying to get cheap labor, that actually there are other Americans that would do that job. So labor certs are a really important part of this. One other quick thing I'll say about that is it's only good for a few months. So if they want to come back a year later, they'll actually have to do a new analysis from the Department of Labor. And that's again, one of the checks and balances to try to make sure people have the labor they need, but it's not harming American workers.